Well, good evening and welcome to Goodison Park for Everton Live. It's Everton versus Leicester City in the Premier League. My name's Rich Wolfenden, and as always, I'm joined by Sarah Halpin. How are we, Sarah?
Very well, actually quite mild considering we're at the end of January tonight. So a massive, tasty fixture against Leicester. Really looking forward to this one. If we get a win, we're right back up there again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had blue hands at the weekend, didn't we, for the win over Sheffield Wednesday? But I think tonight we might be okay without the gloves.
We're going to be all right. You know what? I over-prepared, I think, tonight. I stepped out and I thought it's quite mild. But listen, we'll be warm if the Blues get another win tonight, that's for sure. Yeah. So fingers crossed for a big win in the Premier League.
We were concerned that we might look a little bit too padded. So please, no comments on the padding.
I was going to say, listen, I know we've just had Christmas and maybe a few extra pounds, but I promise this is largely just excessive layering.
It's jumper after jumper after jumper. Anyway, let's get into the football. So, beat Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. Brilliant result, absolutely in control. Tonight, it's completely different opposition in the form of Leicester. How do you reckon we'll fare?
I mean, fantastic first of all to get through against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, lower league opposition in the Cup is always something to be wary of, and I think a 3-0 convincing win is only going to give confidence. Dom back in on the score sheet, fantastic, and I think we can all see how much it meant to Richarlison when he scored that goal in the Gladys Street as well. The passion, it would have done him the world of good to get back in the goal. So I think, Leicester right at the top of the Premier League at the moment, very much in the mix as are Everton. So it's going to be a tasty one. They're without key players such as Jamie Vardy as well. We believe that we'll have Alex Iwobi, Luca Dean available, like Ancelotti said yesterday. So I think it's going to be tough, but I've got everything crossed that it's going to be an Everton win tonight.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Kick-off is at 8:15 this evening at Goodison Park. And on Everton Live, as always, we have a jam-packed show for you. This is what's coming up this evening. So we will have the player arrivals at exactly 7:09. Do you like that? Very accurate on this show.
Specific.
Yeah, and then, of course, the team news, we'll get that straight away. As soon as that comes in, we'll then have an interview with a couple of the lads who made their debuts at the weekend. You may have seen Tyler Onyango and Thierry Small and the highlights of their win as well. We'll also then have an update on Everton's women's side, and then we'll have the latest in our Everton Supporters Club. This time we have members from New York City. We then have highlights of the win against Leicester earlier on in the season. We'll then, of course, be hearing from Mr. Carlo Ancelotti, and we'll be wrapping up tonight's show by paying tribute to those lost in the Holocaust with our own tribute. And of course, at 8:15, you can get full 90-minute commentary on the website evertonfc.com. And of course, we need you to get your questions in, get onto Twitter, and any questions for Graham Stuart, who is our guest this evening, use the hashtag EvertonLive. So just a quick word on the Sheffield Wednesday win then. Obviously a 3-goal win, and we were pretty much in control, weren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was texting my little sister actually before the game, and we were saying a little bit nervous because it is such an important game, and, a win would have seen us through to the next round, a home tie, which we've obviously done. But once we got the first goal, I always felt it was going to be an Everton win. And as I said, to see Richarlison back on the score sheet, I think will massively benefit Everton for the games coming up this week. And Dom as well, back in the side, back in the goals. Fantastic to see that, and we'll do them both the world of good with confidence. Yerry Mina, he seems to love the goals. Centre-back scoring goals for fun this season with Michael Keane. Holgate, of course, who scored in the reverse fixture of this as well. So, it was a really convincing win and a tasty one against Spurs to come in the next round. So, good cup run.
Cannot wait for that. Well, if you haven't seen the goals from that game yet, we will have highlights of that very shortly. But before we get into that, let's have a little introduction for our guest this evening. Few decent finishes there, Graham. Good to get on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be getting away with that anymore these days. I can remember you could do it once.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've had you on the show before. We had you on Everton Live for, I think it was the Merseyside derby, wasn't it, before then? And, that was a great performance that day. We didn't come away with 3 points. you reckon we could do that tonight?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, we've got no problems here playing at Goodison Park. It's, you know, even without the fans, which again is always a disappointment, even when we had the 2,000, just that little bit of noise just, I think, really helped the players. We haven't got that tonight, but the occasion should make the players play tonight. It's such a good game to look forward to. Leicester with the opportunity to go 7th ourselves, with a chance to go 4th. So all to play for. Should be an exciting game.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just talking to Sarah then, like the game against Sheffield Wednesday, we were so in control. I mean, it was pretty much the first 11, apart from maybe the goalkeeper and the left back. Do you reckon tonight that momentum will continue into this game?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. I'm sure Carlo will make some changes, no doubt about that, just to freshen things up as well. Quite clearly, you know, we controlled the game, and it was actually a pleasure to sit at home and watch a game where we're totally in control of it. No scares, no nothing, because there's so many teams up and down the years that have had that problem in early rounds of the Cup, especially here at Goodison Park. So it was nice to just relax with your cup of tea and know that we were going to win the game. Yeah,
so there's so many players who stood out in that match, but for me, we missed him for a month or so, James Rodriguez, but he looked back to his absolute best, didn't he?
Yeah, obviously James has been out for a while, but you know, he comes back and he needs to just get his sharpness again, his match fitness. But you can see in the couple of games that he's played now that that's slowly but surely returning. You saw as well the delivery that he possesses from set pieces. He's so important for us when we've got people like, you know, obviously Michael Keane didn't play the other night, but he scored a fantastic goal at Wolves a couple of weeks ago. But Yerry Mina scores, you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring again at the far post from another fantastic ball from Gomez. We've got good quality all around the pitch and people with a desire to finish it off.
With Rodriguez being out for quite a long time, obviously it was arguably his best performance for Everton against Sheffield Wednesday. Do even the highest level, top level players have moments of self-doubt where they think they're not good enough?
I think everybody, you know, confidence is huge in any sport. Obviously in football you've got the opportunity for 10 other players to get you out of a bad day, but even the top players, sometimes if your form's not good, doubts creep into you. But I think with James, he's got such a good pedigree, such good quality about him. At the end of the day, it's always going to come back out for him.
So with this cup run, it's now been confirmed that we've got Spurs in the next round. Very difficult fixture, but having already beaten them this season, first game of the league season, you'd think Everton would be pretty confident going into that, wouldn't you?
Well, all you can ask for is a home tie. That's what we've been given. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to win the game here, go through to the quarter-final of the Cup. It's a big carrot dangling at you, that. But what you would also say is that Jose Mourinho always shows the Cup's respect. So he'll put a strong side out against us, so it'll be a real test for us. But as I say, home tie, we should be positive about it.
Yeah. Well, just a word on tonight's side. Leicester City absolutely flying in the Premier League, arguably a true title contender once more. They're not going to have Jamie Vardy tonight. And do you think the centre-backs will be pretty glad of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most centre-halves probably go to sleep the night before thinking about Jamie Vardy, because he possesses such a threat in behind you especially. A lot of teams play so deep against Leicester because they know they can't afford to allow space behind the back four or back three, whichever they choose to play, for Vardy to get down the sides and behind you. And he possesses such a threat in terms of goal as well. So it's a big relief for us to not have Vardy playing. Choice for Brendan Rodgers. Does he play Perez? Does he play Iniacho? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the real danger man for them over the past few weeks has been James Maddison. We were rumoured with him quite heavily before he went to Leicester, and he seems like he's one who's got away. He's been absolutely brilliant for them.
Yeah, again, somebody who was injured earlier on in the season and just looked like he was a little bit off it, a couple of yards off it to start off with, but certainly over these last few weeks, in the games that I've been able to see on the television, he looks to be back to his best. He's, again, a goal threat, somebody who's got good close control, very skillful player, and it's so important for to have a midfield player who can score your goals as well. So big opportunity for him, certainly from their perspective tonight. But we've got to make sure we clamp down their midfield because they're very, very strong in the middle of midfield.
Yeah, well, we'll have the team news in just over 5 minutes on Everton Live. Who are you looking to come back into the side, if anybody, from the team that played the weekend? Obviously, Olsen started in goal.
It's tough. I mean, you know, it's the temptation for any manager is to continue to keep playing the players that are getting you results. But I think Carlo's been quite, consistent in the fact that he's chopped and changed teams and horses for courses, especially with the amount of games that are being played in this Premier League season. And,
Mason
with the
Holgate
cups as
was
well.
just saying there. Do you reckon he'll get a game tonight?
Mason, he's got every chance, hasn't he? I mean, Ben Godfrey's been fantastic for us. I've been so impressed with that young man coming from Norwich to a huge club like Everton. He's, eased into it with absolutely no problems. You look at Luca Dean and say, is he a starting 11 player? 100% he is. Does he come straight back into the side tonight? So there's problems, but nice problems for Carlo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just saw Tom Davis there juggling his phone. He almost dropped his phone on the floor there. Presumably he'll start tonight because Decore's missing.
It would look like that, wouldn't you? You would guess so. I mean, Tom Davis, you know, he played very well at Sheffield United. Probably the best game I've seen Tom play for a fair while. He'll look to, you know, continue that kind of form here tonight if he gets the nod ahead of obviously Decore, who's out suspended.
Yeah, so he's probably the closest we have to Decore, isn't he? He's kind of an engine room sort of player, puts in a proper shift, and that's what Decore brings exactly, and what's going to be missing
Of course, I mean, Decore's got great athleticism. You know, he's not too interested in the final third of the pitch. He wants to make sure we're nice and solid in the middle midfield. But as I say, if Tom does come in tonight, he's got to be on the money because, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, they are very, very strong in the middle of the park. Ndidi, Morrison, you know, Tielemans, they're very, very good players, and that I think is where the key battle will be won and lost tonight.
How impressed have you been by Everton's midfield this season? Because obviously Alan's now been out for a long time. Gomez has had spells out. You know, Sigurdsson, Davis, everybody's played a role really in that midfield.
I think that's been the most impressive thing for us as a squad, because we've had injuries and because we've had suspensions. Carlo's relied on everybody coming in and chipping in at certain times, and you know, that can upset a lot of teams and unbalanced teams very, you know, in a big way. But we've stuck with it. We've had some really, really good performances. We've had the odd bad one along the way, but we're sat in a really, really good position, ready to attack that top four. And tonight is a wonderful opportunity. We did have a great opportunity against West Ham a few weeks back in a Premier League game. We missed out on that one, and West Ham have gone on to do fantastic things. David Moyes have really got them going since they played us. But let's not fall into that trap again tonight. It's a tough fixture for us, but one where if we win it, with games in hand, we can push ourselves right up into that top four.
Yeah, and a man who's really improved over the last few weeks. He got an assist against Wolves, he got an assist against Sheffield Wednesday. Is Andre Gomez, who all of a sudden, you know, he was starting a lot of games on the bench, and he's really improved of late, hasn't he? Again,
another player who's sat out a few games, as you've mentioned, but, you know, that's the challenge for the players. That, you know, we haven't got a squad that bounces, you know, 8 absolute certainty picks for me. We might have 3 or 4 certainties every week, but we don't have 8. There's a lot of much of a muchness.
Yeah.
So everybody's, you know, if you're in form, you keep the shirt. It's as simple as that. That's not a bad thing to have, and it's not a bad thing every single day when you go to the training ground to know that Carlo's looking at you, Duncan's looking at you, the whole of the staff are making sure that you're on the money, because you slip up in training, you're not in the team on a Saturday. So that's what you have. Everybody pushing each other for a starting position.
Yeah. Is it too simplistic to look at this game and say play the same side that beat them last month? Because obviously there's been a lot of games and a lot of, you know, festivities since then. It can't be as simple as playing the same side.
No, I mean, in an ideal world, if you're winning games of football, a manager just names the same 11, but we know that's not how the modern game works. There's so many games that are coming, you know, thick and fast. You've got to mix it up. You've got to keep fresh legs in certain areas of the pitch. You don't know if anybody's been ill overnight, ill during the week, you know, picked up little niggles. You know, we don't know that until the side gets named. And we'll find that out very, very shortly, because I'm quite excited about it. I want to know what the teams are going to be, and because I think it's going to be a really good open game of football. If Vardy was playing, I think we tend to play quite a deep game and try and hit them on the counter-attack, because you have to nullify him because he's such a threat. Whereas now he's not playing, perhaps we can be a bit more expansive. Perhaps we can go and close them down a bit higher up the pitch, try and win the ball higher up the pitch, because we've proven that we're very dangerous from crosses.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, even if we don't play expansively, we've proved this season that we're dangerous from free kicks, corners. Yeah. Like set pieces of late have been absolutely brilliant. Michael Keane and Gary Mina are licking their lips every time.
Absolutely, and so they should be, because, you know, they've certainly got the height. We possess plenty of height in our side, and when you've got somebody like James, people like Gilfie, you can put the ball on the, you know, on a sixpence. They should be licking their lips every single time there's a set piece, because it's a great opportunity to score a goal. So, you know, we proved it again Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday. You can be playing lower league sides, but they're lower league sides because they can't defend as well as Premier League sides can. So put the ball in the box, put the ball in the danger area. We score 2 goals from corners.
Is getting better at corners just by practicing loads of corners in training?
It's all anything is. Anything in life is all about practice, isn't it? The more you practice, you know, the better you get. Golfers, if you don't practice, you're not going to win tournaments. Golfers practice for 8 hours, whatever. Pays dividends, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is it just that combined with pure desire and wanting to attack the ball? Presumably.
Of course it is.
How many corners did you score from?
Loads. No, I was normally on the edge of the box in case they broke away. They kept me out of there. I'm not tall enough. But obviously, look, I mean, it's a combination of the two. You need a huge desire to score goals, from if you're a centre half, if you're a centre forward,
Sorry,
and
Graham,
you've got to possess
there,
good quality as well. Over to the teams. Go on.
There you go. Your excitement's about to be answered. So the team news is in for Everton versus Leicester this evening. Kick-off at 8:15 at Goodison Park. Jordan Pickford in his pink kit returns in between the sticks. Mason Holgate gets a spot in defence. Presumably Michael Keane returns to the 11 as well. He missed out against Sheffield Wednesday on the weekend. Richarlison looking for to make it 2-2. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Richarlison didn't score, did he? It was Calvert-Lewin who scored. Calvert-Lewin looking to make it 2-2. Luca Dean back in the starting lineup as well at left back. Yerry Mina, he scored against Sheffield Wednesday. James Rodriguez continues out wide to support the attack. Andre Gomez gets his spot in midfield also. And Ben Godfrey continues as well. And Tom Davis comes in as well, presumably for the suspended Abdoulaye Doucouré. And there's the substitutes bench. Lots of great options on there. 2 goalkeepers just in case, and Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex Iwobi, and Seamus Coleman on the bench, and of course Tyler Onyango, who made his debut at the weekend, getting a spot on the bench again. He'll be absolutely thrilled about that. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. But what's your first reaction to that? Looks like
first and foremost, I'm looking at it, and Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, Ben Godfrey, all been picked.
Yep.
Luca Dean was there as well, wasn't he?
He was.
And Mason Holgate. No, I'm good. So I mean, immediately your thought process is they're going to play 3 at the back, with the 3 centre halves, and then Mason Holgate pushing on, Luca Dean pushing on. I stand corrected. I might be totally wrong. Carlo might throw me a swerve ball, so that throws Leicester a swerve ball as well. But as it's from looking at it, I would guess we'll play 3 at the back.
3 at the back, and Holgate, he seems to be one of those players who can just play anywhere. I mean, I said he's going to play centre back. You think he'd play right back? He could well be playing central midfield.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty with Mason. He's a talented boy. He's got a good engine about him, and he's a good defender. He can play full back or centre half. So, just looking from that, I'll probably be totally wrong, as I said, but it looks like he plays on the right hand side, pushed on. Yeah.
So, with Holgate's only got 1 Premier League goal, hasn't he? And that was against Leicester last month. Do you reckon this could maybe become the team that he favours playing against? Because players tend to have teams they like to score against.
Yeah, sometimes it just falls for you. You have a little bit of an Indian sign over a certain side, so long may that continue. And starting tonight with Mason, he continue that, because if he scores a goal for us tonight, we'll be taking that very much, and hopefully that pushes us up the league.
Yeah, absolutely. So that front 3, it's Rodriguez, it's Richarlison, and it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's a pretty frightening front 3 if you're that Leicester defence, isn't it?
Of course. I mean, they look at that, the threats there with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's really pushed on this season, made himself a household name. Everybody knew about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the up-and-coming young player, but now he's really pushed himself into people's front rooms, and everybody knows who Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. Helped by the quality that we serve with Richarlison on one side and James Rodriguez on the other. So when you're a centre forward and you're getting the kind of delivery that those 2 guys can give you, it's a dream for you. No surprise that he scored so many goals so far this season.
Well, I mean, he has scored a lot. I think he scored more goals than he has in any other campaign. But he did have a bit of a dry patch around the festive period and the start of January. How does he rediscover that form he had at the beginning of the season?
No, he just has to keep doing what he's been doing all season, get himself in the right positions. He did it again here at the weekend. He got himself right at the far post. Fantastic ball from Andre Gomez. He comes sliding into the far post, and all of a sudden he's back up and running. Goal scorers always tend to score in clutches. And inevitably you can't score every week. That's not the Premier League. That's not reality of life. So you might go 3, 4, 5 games without a goal. You've just got to keep doing the right things, being in the same areas, doing exactly what you've done all the way through the season, and the ball will drop for you if you're in the right spot at the right time.
Would you say that to Richarlison as well? Because he usually gets the same amount of goals as Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Well, he does. I mean, he'll be buoyed. I mean, he scored a goal at the weekend from the corner.
Oh yeah, from the corner.
So I mean, he's good from set pieces. He's got good aerial ability. And what I like about Richarlison, he doesn't stand on parade out on the left wing. When the ball's on the right hand side and James Rodriguez is cutting in, or Seamus Coleman's overlapping, or Mason Holgate maybe tonight, he doesn't stand outside and picking his nose on the left-hand side. He wants to get in at the far post and score goals.
Yeah.
And that's what good wide men do. They recognise that you become the second striker. You don't score goals from 10 yards outside the far post. You score goals from getting yourself in the box.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed he does get one. Cheers for that, Graham. If you've got any questions for Graham Stuart, remember on Twitter, #EvertonLive, get them in, and Sarah will ask you plenty of questions later on, I'm sure. Well, if you haven't seen the highlights yet, here they are from our 3-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend.
Gomez. Sigurdsson now inside the penalty area. Twisting, turning, using Gomez again. Gomez drives one across the face of goal and brilliantly steered home by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Of course, he's back amongst the goals for Everton, back in the starting 11 after injury, and back with a goal to give Everton the lead just inside the half-hour mark here at Goodison. Great work by Andre Gomez here, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin stretched out that right boot to turn it home and give Everton the advantage in this FA Cup fourth round tie. James Rodriguez. It's a good corner, and that's the goal from Richarlison. He met it superbly. James Rodriguez picked him out. The South American combination doing the trick for Everton to double their lead in the 14th minute of this second half. Richarlison rising high to head home here. Inside the 6-yard box, picked out by James Rodriguez. Well, can we get the combination again of James Rodriguez and Richarlison? In it goes, and it's netted by Yerry Mina this time. Well, he's done it again. Rodriguez has picked out his Colombian international teammate. Yerry Mina gets his third of this season, and that surely is enough now for Everton. Just a couple of minutes after Richarlison headed home, Yerry Mina does the same.
Yes, Everton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0 to see us through to the next round of the Cup against Spurs. And what a performance it was. Graham, who stood out for you on the day? I think it's safe to say James was just pretty unplayable, wasn't he?
Yeah, James was fantastic, but you'd expect him to be against Sheffield Wednesday. They're not enjoying the best of seasons, and obviously they haven't got the quality that the other Premier League sides have got. So you would expect somebody of James's quality to come through and shine, and he certainly did. Didn't let us down, did he?
He didn't let us down, you're exactly right. And, you know, some of the movement in there, I think Andre Gomez did fantastically well in the assist for Dom as well. Great to see him get another assist following the Wolves game. And then James with the 2 corners. You know, our South American Blues coming through for us with the goals, and how good was it to see Richarlison off the mark
Yeah,
again?
I mean, great to see Richie scoring. I mean, he's as I was talking about earlier on, he's got a hunger to score goals, and he wants to get himself in the box, so at least he always gets there and puts himself in position to score. But the delivery is the all-important thing, and we are very, very blessed to have somebody like James who can, as I say, put it on a sixpence for people, and then all of a sudden, you know, the likes of Yerry Mina licking his lips, 6'4". If he wants to score a goal, he should be scoring a goal if the ball's there to be delivered to him.
Definitely, but he just puts them on the plate for players time and again, doesn't he, James Rodriguez? And, you know, a game that we would have been expected to win, but it was a professioncal job. We saw that with the team that Carlo put out. Shows how seriously we're taking this competition, doesn't it?
Yeah, and so we should, because, you know, the Evertonians deserve a run in the cup. It's been, as I said, a long, long time since we won a trophy, and we've had a good spell in the Carabao Cup, didn't we? Unfortunately, knocked out in the quarter-final here against Manchester United. But let's push on again, because realistically, that's the only trophy we can win this season. We want to do well in the Premier League, and we want to get into Europe, but we want silverware every bit as much.
We do. Well, we've got Spurs at home awaiting us in the next round, and the last time we faced Spurs in the Cup was in 1995, and we all know exactly how that one went on to end up. So same again would be brilliant. Hopefully it's an omen. But another lovely moment for us all, and especially for the 2 young lads themselves, was the debutants Tyler and Thierry, who came on in the win against Sheffield Wednesday. We've been talking to them this week.
Hey, Thierry, congratulations. Firstly, obvious question, how did that feel coming on for your Everton debut?
Unbelievable, thank you. Yeah, it's just everything I've dreamed of since I was a young boy, so it's crazy.
It's one thing you get in your debut at 16, but you're an Everton record holder now as well. You've taken Jose Baxter's record off him after nearly 13 years.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. It still hasn't sunk in properly yet. It's just one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. Just, you know, making my family proud. All the hard work that we've had to put in through the years, sacrifices, it's all come true.
You tell us about some of those sacrifices that have brought you to this stage.
I had to move away from home at the age of 11, so that was hard, moving away from my family and stuff like that. So it's character building, so it matured me as a player, and I'm just grateful that Ancelotti gave me the opportunity to play today.
When did you find out you were going to be in the squad?
He told me 2 days before, so I was happy when he told me. It still hasn't sunk in now, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's a great moment for me and my family.
Tyler, congratulations. Huge night for yourself personally.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, yeah, I've been at the club since 8 years old, worked my way through all the different age groups, and then yeah, to make my debut is massive, and I'm really pleased, really happy. So yeah, thank you.
17 now, so 9 years you've been working your way through those age groups. Have you been envisaging exactly what your debut would be like?
Yeah, as a young kid, I mean, you come to Goodison, watching from the stands as a ball boy, all those things. So like, you sit there and you just imagine it, and it's just a dream as a kid. So then to finally step on to the pitch and play, it is a dream, honestly. Yeah, it's amazing.
Who are the players you've watched when you've been coming to Goodison, watching from the stands and thinking?
When I was from 8 years old, like when Arteta was here, Cahill was here, obviously Bainesy just retired, and obviously Coleman, and all the players up until now, Gomez in midfield, all those players. So yeah, I've seen it right through for many years.
So when did you discover you were in the squad for tonight's game?
Yesterday after training, I seen the squad get sent out and I see my name in it. So yeah, I was over the moon to see that, and then I was buzzing, couldn't sleep, and then yeah, when Duncan said to us that we're coming on, I mean, yeah, I was just so excited, and then came on and made up.
Just brilliant stuff there from the lads, and it's great to see the pictures come into the surface as well. I'm sure that they had a giggle with those, but just while we were watching that VT, it's been confirmed that Carlo is playing with a back four tonight, so Luca Dean, left midfield. Surely, you know, playing into what we were just saying about the deliveries from Hammers, somebody else with one of the best deliveries in the Premier League, one of the most, maybe even the most chances created, Luca Dean. Do you think that will provide great service?
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the makings of doing that, isn't he? I mean, Luca loves him to get himself forward if he's playing at fullback. So if he's got the opportunity to start on the left-hand side, yet again, I've got it wrong, because I thought we might play three at the back with Luca pushed on as a wing-back, but it's not to be.
Carlo's playing with us here.
Well, that's why Carlo's a top manager and I just stand here making silly comments. So, but no, I mean, it'd be great. It gives Luca a bit more freedom to get himself down the byline, get to the end, and whip dangerous crosses in the box, because his assists are outstanding.
They really are, and you know, look forward to seeing that, and hopefully Dom and Richie will be, and Yerry Mina and Michael Keane will be rubbing their hands together, and looking forward to some excellent deliveries today. But just back to that interview as well, and you know, Thierry and Tyler as well, how fantastic it was to see the two lads make their debut. Tyler 17, I think he is, but young Thierry 16 years, and I can't remember how many days old he is, but he is the youngest ever Everton player now.
Here's the only person who's unhappy about it is Jose Baxter, isn't he? Because he was the youngest, wasn't he? But brilliant for Thierry, and fantastic for Tyler as well. I've seen Tyler over the last couple of seasons really develop. He's got a fantastic size to him. He's got good strength, and I like him as a player. I think he's got a big future at the club. Thierry, very, very young man, plenty of time to develop. But credit to the lads who did the job out on the pitch as well, because at 1-0 or 2-1, Carlo doesn't make that double substitution. So it's great that the lads have provided a platform for those two lads to come on and make their debuts.
Definitely, and so well they did as well, of course. Absolutely. Maintaining that clean sheet. Apologies as well, trying to get Tyler's name out there was a bit of a mouthful. It's Tyler and Thierry, but no, Thierry, congratulations to him on becoming the youngest player in Everton's history. And less than 24 hours after coming on here at Goodison Park and playing in such a big occasion, they were back in action for the under-23s against Leicester, and here's how they got on.
Great win for the under-23s against Leicester. Hopefully the first team can do it tonight. Remember, hashtag Everton Live, get your questions into Graham. That time is ticking on there. It's just a quick word, Graham, about the under-23s, and more specifically David Unsworth. You played with him. Was there any inclinations when you played with him that he was going to move into his role with the under-23s that he has at the moment?
I mean, you're never quite sure what path people are going to go down when they finish football, but certainly David, always somebody who was very articulate when he spoke, clearly an intelligent young man. So you take that into another life, as it were, beyond football. He always had the attributes to get onto coaching and become a manager. So he's done terrifically well. Now a director of academy football as well. So he's taken on the role of still wants to keep hold of that under-23 managerial tag, but overlooking the director of the academy is a step in the right direction for David overall.
Yeah, because he had a couple of sniffs, didn't he, with the first team management in between. Yeah. It was after Koeman and after Silva. Yeah. He got a chance at the first team. Do you think eventually he might be ready for that? Because he's been asked about it in the past and he's not been interested in it. Do you think maybe there will become a time?
Yeah, I think, it's the same with Duncan. David and Duncan both love Everton Football Club. And you'd really have to tear yourself away from this football club to go and take on another managerial role. And I'm sure David's had the opportunity to do that, but it's got to be the right club for him, and it's got to be somewhere that really, he's got a huge desire to go to wrench you away from Everton. So he's very, very proud of the young players that he's got and that he can see develop at the football club. And he enjoys it on a daily basis with John Ebrell and Franny Jeffers. So that, every single day they're working on player development, and when you see two lads come on in the Sheffield Wednesday Cup tie that you work with every day on the pitch and they're making their debuts for the first team, the pride you must feel is huge.
Absolutely. I mean, when he was a player, did he ever put his arm around any of the young lads coming through or anything like that when he was?
If he'd have squashed them, Unzi, if he'd done things like that. No, I mean, I think that's something you develop more with experience.
Yeah.
Unzi was a young player in the side when I was playing. And he had a lot to do. He just had to look after himself and perform at the levels that he ended up performing at. So when you do that, you're hell bent on looking after your position in the side. As you get that bit more experienced, a bit more confident in yourself and your capabilities, that's when you turn around to the young players and give them that little bit of advice that the Dave Watsons and the Gary Abletts used to give David.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, Graham. Well, we'll kick off is 42 minutes away now. Hashtag Everton Live. Get your questions in. Don't forget about that. Well, no new signings for the first team as of yet, but the women's side made a brand new signing, introducing Alicia Lehmann.
Yeah, it's like a dream comes true because Everton is a big club. They did so well this season, so I'm so excited to play and hopefully score a goal and win with Everton.
What made you think that Everton was the best place for you to take the next step in your career?
Because I know how well they did the season. They have a really good facilities. They did well. They played the FA Cup final, and so for me it was the first choice to go, and I was so happy when it happened.
In your conversations with the manager Willie Kirk and with our sport and commercial director Sarvar Ismailov, what have they told you about this club's ambitions?
Yeah, they told me the ambitions are really big. They want to achieve stuff. They want to win, and that's what I also think. I really want to achieve stuff. I want to achieve stuff with Everton, and hopefully, it will happen.
You're the latest in a number of high-profile signings we've made at Everton, with Jill Scott signing just a few days ago. How excited are you about linking up with this squad?
Yeah, I'm really excited to meet everyone, to be with the squad. I mean, they signed Jill Scott a week ago, and I think she's a really big player. So I'm so excited to meet a player. I'm a bit nervous, but I think that's good, and I'm excited to play with them on the pitch.
There's a lot of exciting attacking players in the team as well. Are you looking forward to linking up with them?
Yeah, of course. I know there are big players here playing, so that makes me even more excited because I can learn stuff from them. They can teach me, and so I'm really excited.
And what can Evertonians expect to see from you out on the pitch?
Yeah, I think I'm a striker, so they expect me to score, to bring something with the team. Hopefully I can use my pace a lot, and hopefully score goals.
And the manager has got a fantastic track record of improving players, of taking them to the next level. Is that something you're looking forward to working under him?
Yeah, I hope he can bring me to the next level because I think I have potential. I can work on a lot of stuff, and so hopefully he can bring me to the next level and make me better. Yeah.
And what are your first impressions of the club here and the training ground here at USM Finch Farm?
Yeah, so when I came here, I was a bit shocked because it looks so good. This big, the pitches, they look like carpet, really good, everyone was so kind, and so I have really a good impression.
Well, there she is, newest signing, Alicia Lehmann, Swiss international signing for Everton's women's side. It's a big statement of intent, that, isn't it?
Oh, massive, delighted, of course. Breaking news, really. It was only announced a couple of hours ago that Alicia will be joining Everton on the back, of course, of a loan signing with Jill Scott. But no, Lehmann is a fantastic footballer. She's got bags of pace. She's going to contribute massively to the kind of attacking style of football that we play at Everton. And she comes across as a really nice girl. I've seen her on when she played at West Ham on that programme Squad Goals. And, you're very much seeing now the kinds of players that are returning, coming to Everton. It's not only what they're doing on the pitch, it's the kind of people they are. And I think Alicia and Jill will both be fantastic additions to Everton women, and can't wait to watch them in action soon.
Absolutely. I mean, we just seen her there on her phone, presumably doing Instagram Live or something. Do you reckon because she's got so many Instagram followers, what was it, 1.7 million or something like that?
Yeah, she's got well over 1.5 million.
That's part of the mindset, right, of signing her, do you think? Commercial propositions?
I think first and foremost it'll be what she does on the pitch, but look, it's fantastic to see when you get a player like that with so much interest. We've seen it with the men's team, haven't we, with the likes of James Rodriguez, players like that who just have a following of their own so big and so powerful. So if we can bring more of fans that are already there in support of Alicia Lehmann to join the Everton family and start supporting the Toffees, then that's a massive bonus. And I've already seen the comments from people on Twitter, Facebook, etc. when we announced the signing. A lot of people are very happy to see her here, so can't wait to watch her. And
I just seen the tattoo on her neck there. It says "Be brave." That's surely a good sign that she's going to be of Everton's ilk.
Oh,
surely.
Definitely. Be brave. We love all that. She'll fit right in, and as I said, I think the kind of players that we're seeing brought to Everton now, from Willie Kirk and Chris Roberts, they're not only exceptional players on the pitch, but also off of it, and it fits into that mould of us being the people's club, and I think she'll be a very, very good fit.
Yeah, and we just seen her there meeting a couple of the teammates there. Do you reckon she'll fit in? Because you know the girls pretty well, don't you?
Oh, listen, they're a good bunch. They are a great bunch, and I think if there's one thing I can say is that she will be welcomed with open arms, by all the girls at the club. Same with Jill. I think, for any Evertonians that have seen maybe her initiation from last weekend, she's singing Mysterious Girl by Peter Andre, having a real laugh with it, a good dance and that. And that's just the kind of group we are. But also, it's not just fun and games. It's also they're here to work hard and to hopefully crack them Champions League places. And Jill and Alicia will definitely be the kind of players that can help us to do that.
Yeah, and specifically, what will Alicia bring to this Everton side? A bit of combativeness?
Yeah, definitely. And that's it. Again, she's combative, as you say, and pacey. She'll bring in loads of assists, hopefully bag a load of goals for the club as well, and just offers competition. We've already got fantastic wingers at the club in Hayley Rasso, Nico Sorensen and the like, Shani Boy Halorka, etc. So I think it just adds that strength in depth and even more competition, and I think they could push us on to the next level.
Yeah, well, there's been plenty of activity in the transfer window for the women's side. Jill Scott signed last week, as Sarah just mentioned. Well, we caught up with the commercial and sporting director around what her signing means to the club, and it's not as businessy as it sounds.
It's a huge signing up, in my view. It's the qualities which she brings to the club. Obviously, it's a football, everyone knows her, but the winning mentality which she brings now back from City, it's just perfect for us, what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a winning club, winning team. So I think it's a huge statement for us. And it's a huge new journey, another new journey for her with us.
As Jill is such a high-quality player, I'm sure there were a number of clubs who were interested in signing her. How did Everton approach ensuring that she signed for us?
Well, I think Jill played a big part in it herself. She was really keen to come. She was calling us, and we were calling her, and we got on very well. And I think the main reason why we were successful in bringing her is Jill herself. She was the driving force behind it, together with us, and just her enthusiasm and her joy for our club. I think it still remains inside her, and that was the main driving force behind the transfer.
What does a signing like this say about the club's continuing ambition?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is just another statement, really. We're trying to make, we obviously did a big statement in summer with Valerie and the rest of the 6 players which we brought in. But this is just another statement, and to show the other clubs that we're not here to be just regarded as a top 4, top 5 club. We're here to win. We're here to compete. We're here to compete with the big clubs. And for people to really respect us and fear us in some ways when they play us. So it's a big statement, but it's not finished. There'll be more statements to come. That's for sure.
Well, it's nice to see Jill Scott back in Everton colours, albeit the bright pink of the Everton's women's side. But, you know, what do you reckon she can bring? Obviously, she brings 140-odd England caps or something like that. She's very experienced.
Oh, she is. She's one of the best in the game. And, you know, I think just having her around the place, and it was interesting, I saw an interview with her yesterday where she said, obviously, the age she is, she's like, I get asked about my age all the time. But she says, I actually want to still improve, and I still feel that there's so much to give. And she said, whenever they're doing fitness tests with the club, she's still in the highest category with the fittest players. So, you know, that just shows about how hard she trains to keep herself up there, and I think she'll add a lot to us in that midfield. And you know, she said she wants to contribute with the goals as well, which she of course did all those years ago when she was with us before. So yeah, just delighted to have her around the place, and as you can see from the clips there, just a happy, funny, down to earth, great character up around the place. So can't wait to see her.
Yeah, well, when will we get the chance to see her?
We'll get the chance, hopefully, to see her play this Sunday when we play Manchester United in the league. Massive, massive game, probably our biggest game bar the FA Cup final of the season so far. So hopefully we'll get a glimpse of both the new girls there, and all our fans at home can watch them live on the FA Player, so make sure you do that as well.
Yeah, please do. And remember, get your questions in, focusing on Leicester tonight for Graham Stuart. # Everton Live over on Twitter if you've got any questions. Now, you may have seen over previous episodes of Everton Live that we have a little segment where we give a little bit of time to our supporters clubs from around the world, and the latest is from New York City.
Hello, fellow Blues. My name is Michael, and I'm here with the privilege of giving you some background on our local supporters club, the New York City Evertonians.
New York City Evertonians was founded unofficially in the early 2000s by a group of expats from Ireland and Britain who missed going to the games, meeting up with their Evertonian friends. So by the 11-12 season, we had everything in line and were officially recognized as New York City Evertonians official supporters club. It's all thanks to the original group of expats who started that meetup, and it's just a family. It's grown exponentially ever since then.
Now we're over 100 members and counting. We're also working with a lot of the other supporters clubs around the country in the US to find ways to reach out and engage members and prospective new members as well. In New York City, we've been very fortunate to always have a place that we can call home. A place we can call our own, where we know that the Everton matches are always on as long as there's a feed in the US. We first started at Mr. Dennehy's, where we were there for 14 years. One of the guys who was frequently at Mr. Dennehy's is JP. He also owns a bar in Manhattan, and when Mr. Dennehy sadly closed in 2018, JP was there to offer us a new home, Turnmill, which we have been at for the last 3 years. We've had a lot of memorable meetups at Turnmill over the last few years. Of course, that's been a little bit more difficult during COVID. New York City has been one of the more restrictive cities in the country, and so we haven't been able to meet at the pub as often as we'd like. We have been able to do a few indoors when the restrictions were a little bit looser, and even some outdoors. But for now, we'll be watching at home for the most part, keeping everyone safe, but looking forward to the time when we can go back to Turnmill.
One of the most important kind of games for me as a New York Evertonian was a game towards the end of 2015 when we all went over to Goodison to watch Everton Stoke. It was just an amazing experience for us all to be there together. After the game, we met some of the players like Duncan Ferguson came over, Tony Hibbert came over. It was really, really a fantastic time.
So we will be watching the match on Wednesday against Leicester. For us here in New York City, the match comes on at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so we're going to have to come up with some clever excuses to get out of the last part of the workday.
I've got to say, everyone really gets the culture of the club. You know, they kind of, you know, they really get Everton. And when we're all together, when we're all watching the game, which is fantastic, it's like being with family. It's like a true home away from home. And, you know, it's been particularly important for me and for everyone really during the lockdown. Everyone's really been supporting everyone else, checking in on everyone, seeing if they're okay. And, you know, we've also been in touch with other groups across the US, you know, and we've been able to watch games virtually with other groups, and that's been fantastic.
So there it is. There's the New York City Evertonians. We hope you enjoyed learning about our club. If you'd like to join us, if you're coming to town, either way, please let us know. You can hit us on Instagram or Twitter or email. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, up the Toffees.
Fantastic stuff there from the New York City Evertonians, and make sure you check them out if you want to get involved, if you're in that area. And yeah, fantastic, isn't it, Graham, to say? I always say I love that segment of the show where we get introduced to Blues all over the world, and I know that you're very much involved with our fan base, Zoom calls, etc. Where's the furthest place you've reached via Zoom?
Oh, I think it is the States at the moment, actually. I mean, again, we played Newcastle here Saturday, and I think I'm talking to the Chicago Evertonians.
Oh, brilliant.
Saturday. I think Snods is looking after the New York Evertonians tonight.
Snods has got New York.
Yeah, we're quite strong in America, which is really pleasing to see. And obviously we've got Tim Howard working for us and as an ambassador out there as well. So we've got a natural connection with America and the football club.
Definitely. So the New York Evertonians there. Of course, you mentioned Tim Howard, Landon Donovan as well, of course.
Yeah, Landon.
McBride, you know, Joe Max Moore. We've had a few
Very
Americans here, haven't we?
Yeah,
Rich
we certainly
history.
have.
So it's good to see. But obviously Goodison right now, again, no supporters here. We were fortunate to see a couple of thousand Blues back for a few games, and they made a big difference. And Carlo's, you know, referred to that as well. Do you think it's just something that the players are used to again now?
I think they probably have, Sarah, got used to it over the last, pretty much a full season now, give or take. And it is, I mean, it's not a pleasant experience for anybody. I mean, it's totally changed match day for supporters, for players, for all of us, really. It's not the same. It never will be the same. And hopefully we can get that vaccine rolled out and, you know, get rid of this dreadful pandemic to the point where everybody feels comfortable enough to fill this fantastic stadium again, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
Definitely, and you know, it's times like this as well, isn't it, when we're doing so well in the league. We've got one of the best managers in the world. You've got James Rodriguez, one of the best footballers in the world. You've got Dom scoring goals for fun. Yeah. It's a great time, and it's so frustrating that fans can't be here just yet. But as you said, the vaccine, etc., hopefully things start to improve. But yeah, the fans in state, football's all about the supporters, isn't it?
Well, I think that if something good always comes out of something bad, and what everybody will realise is that football needs the fans more than fans need football. Simple as that. And you know, we've seen it up and down the country with empty stadiums. It's just not the same. It's like, as an ex-player, I can only relate it to playing pre-season games, and that's not enjoyable. I mean, no one liked pre-season at the best of times, let alone playing in empty stadiums. So to actually have to replicate that for a proper Premier League or FA Cup tie is difficult, and it's hard to get mentally around in your head. But I think the players have got used to it. I think some of them have probably quite enjoyed it to a certain degree. I think some of them miss
confidence-wise.
Yeah,
less
I think, you know, you look at. Goodison Park is a fantastic place to play football. I absolutely adored playing at Goodison Park, but there is a pressure that comes with it, and some players deal with it better than others. So what it might have done is give the young players in the side a little bit of a leeway, a little bit of time to just settle themselves down into it, have a look around the stadium, realise what it's all about, study the football club in their spare time, and realise that when you're out on that pitch, there's no hiding place, especially with Evertonians. They're not afraid to let you know what's what, and rightly so, because you're representing their football club. So I think there's some good and bad. Some players deal with it in different ways. So some of them will come out of it, you know, quite happy that there's not the pressure of it. Some people love the buzz. Some people love the adrenaline of 40,000 people running through their veins and stuff like that. I mean, that's what football's all about.
It is, Graham, you're absolutely right. Well, there are no fans in the stadium tonight, but we are watching all over the world, hopeful to see 3 points against Leicester, like we did back in December, and we can see that back now.
Here's Harvey Barnes, who can pose a real threat for Leicester now, an England international. He's got that ball into the penalty area, and there's a shot on goal very early on from Yuri Tillemans that came in, and Robin Olsen was happy to watch it just past his right-hand post. It's a decent build-up that by Leicester. Now across for Richarlison. Plenty forward for Everton here. Richarlison goes for goal and scores, as he so often does against Leicester. Richarlison gets the better of Schmeichel, and Everton get the early lead at the King Power Stadium. Richarlison with his second league goal of the season, and his fourth in his last 5 league games against Leicester. He struck it well, and Schmeichel was scrambling across and could not keep this out. Sigurdsson to take once more for Everton. There's the flick from Keane, and Calvert-Lewin's hit the bar, and it's turned in by Mason Holgate. His first Premier League goal for Everton, and what a vital one it could be, because Everton lead by 2-0. The flicked header initially, but Mason Holgate there to finish it off. Perez. Ayoze Perez into the penalty area and getting the penalty by the looks of it. Ayoze Perez fouled inside the 18-yard box. Foot on the ball there. And Ayoze Perez. And it's a change of decision. It is not a penalty. No penalty. No foul by Andre Gomez.
Fantastic stuff there. And now we come to what is my favourite part of the show, when we get the fans' questions in. And we have had some interaction in for you, Diamond, as ever. Some brilliant questions. The first one, and I really like this, this is from Peter J. Macker, and it says, how many times have you replayed hitting the crossbar in the FA Cup final in your head? Or was it just the greatest assist of your career?
The latter.
Yeah,
I'm going with that one. The greatest ever assist. Do you know what? Every so often, I've never been one for playing things back. I don't really watch old games. But every so often, you've got Sky Sports on, they're showing old games. It pops up. And I still think it goes over the line, but it never really does it? But Paul right out, as I've said 1,000,001 times, saved my blushes that day. But look, if it meant me hitting the bar and Paul scoring and we win 1-0, I'll take it every day of the week.
I tell you what, Graham, you take it anyway. It came when you
Absolutely.
Off the elbow. Well, mind you, that wouldn't count nowadays, would it,
No,
with VAR?
well, VAR, yeah.
But no, I'll take that. And of course, such an influential figure in that 1995 Cup win. Spurs, of course, as well. Goal and assist.
They were special days. I mean, that's why I want us to take FA Cup games so seriously here for Carlo's team, because I want them to replicate what we've done. I want them to feel moments like that, because that's what having that blue shirt on and being able to pick up a trophy for this club, unbelievable. They'll never forget it.
It makes me so emotional still seeing the highlights from '95 as well, and everyone wearing the blue noses, and and Duncan and Unzi, proper people who get the club, and how much it, like you say, it would just be absolutely fantastic.
Special days.
It is, and imagine seeing that James Rodriguez and Carlo Ancelotti going around with blue noses on.
I think they'd join in.
I think they would join in. I
definitely,
absolutely do. The next one we got is Paddy Blue Nose from Crosby. Okay, this is a funny one. If you had to be stranded on a desert island with Snods or Sharpie, who would it be?
What kind of choice is that? Sharpie or Snods? Oh, I'd rather be on my own, to be honest with you. No, listen, I love Sharpie and I love Snods, but I'll take it on my own. I'll look after myself. I'll video one of them things. What's it, Ed Stafford or whatever he does? One of those. I'll do that on my own. Leave Sharpie and Snods at home, because they'll get on my nerves.
I love that. Saying it as it is there, Diamond.
Oh, absolutely. They say the same about me.
I was going to say, is it mutual?
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely brilliant. Polly from St Helens wants to know, who's the best player that you ever played with?
Oh, tough question. I mean, I've been really lucky. I played with some fantastic players. Paolo Di Canio in my later years at Charlton, he was an unbelievable player. I can only imagine how good he'd have been, because I played with Paolo, as I say, at Charlton, but he was coming to the real twilight of his career. But great player. Andrei Kanchelskis here was somebody else. I mean, I watched some highlights. As I say, I don't watch old games, but something popped up again. The Sheffield Wednesday game where he scored a hat-trick. We won 5-2. And that was what Andre was all about. He could just get on the ball and he'd change a game of football for you. He could create chances, score important goals, big game player. People like Anders Limpar, You know, Peter Beagrie, when I first came to the club from Chelsea, Peter Beagrie was untouchable. Unbelievably skillful player. So many good players, and you know, it'd probably be wrong to pick somebody out.
It's too hard, isn't it? Put you under pressure there.
I mean, you have put me under pressure, but you know, that's what I've got to deal with. So I'll stick with Andre Kanchelskis.
Andre Kanchelskis. A lot of people will be agreeing with you. One of my absolute favourites growing up, alongside yourself, of course, Diamond.
Oh yeah, you only have to say, listen, you know, listen, we're socially distant. You don't have to say nice things.
He's not going to get me. But no, Diamond, I've got to come to you for back to this game now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can see the lads warming up there in the background behind us. Kick-off not far away. I've got to get a prediction out of you. What we're going for tonight.
Of course, prediction. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with the home side and my football club, and I think we can win the game 2-1.
Yeah.
I think Leicester will score because they've got so much talent, and it would be wrong of me to kid myself that they haven't got a goal threat. So we're looking dangerous, especially from set pieces. And I just think if we're solid and we defend very, very well, and we half win the battle in the middle of midfield, we'll give ourselves a scope to go on and win the game. So I'm going to say 2-1 to us.
Definitely 2-1. We'll take that, absolutely. Graham, that is your end of your time here with us on Everton Live. Thank you for joining us again.
My pleasure,
as
ever. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And yeah, hopefully you'll come through with that prediction for us as well. Somebody else who will no doubt be absolutely delighted if we are getting the 3 points tonight will be that of the manager, Carlo Ancelotti. Here's what he had to say ahead of the game.
Carlo, two good teams in good form, good game.
Yeah, it will be a good game. Difficult game for us. We have to talk about our side. It will be difficult because Leicester is doing really well. But we have confidence for this game. It's an important game because we are close to the top, and also Leicester is close to the top. And so it will be really interesting, I think.
Does the last meeting, which obviously you won at Leicester, does that help with how it might go tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if it helps or not, but I think every game has its own story, and so it will be different from the last time. It's true that we did really well against them. I think it was one of our best performance this season, and we hope to repeat tonight.
Now, your team, I'm trying to work out who's going to play where. You've got a lot of defenders. Can you tell us roughly how you'll line up?
The defenders will be 4, as usual.
Okay.
And then we put on the wings Richarlison and Digne.
Okay. So Holgate will play right back and Godfrey left back. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. No secret.
Understood. Obviously, you're having to shuffle a little bit your players because of who is not available in midfield in particular.
Yeah, we have out Doucouré and Alain. Doucouré was suspended, but Tom Davies did really well the game that he played. André, after a difficult period, now he's back. He played really well the last game that we played in the FA Cup. He's fit, motivated, so I think no problem for this.
Yeah, and I presume you think Leicester may be a little bit different without Vardy. They're a slightly different team when he doesn't play.
I think that they are not going to change their strategy. They are not going to change their philosophy. It's a good team. They play well football, and it will be the same.
Carlo Ancelotti there. Well, Graham Stuart's left us. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck on a desert island with Snods or Sharpie anytime soon.
I think there'd be trouble, wouldn't there, by the looks of things?
There actually would.
Great as always, Diamond.
So, kick-off 16 minutes, 10 seconds away to be exact. What are you expecting from tonight's game? Everton versus Leicester City in the Premier League.
Well, both teams are going to very much be going for it, aren't they? It feels like a 6-pointer, and of course it will be the opportunity for Everton to do the double over Leicester, which is massive in our challenge for, European football and ultimately Champions League football as well. Carlo said in his press conference he misses the Champions League and he wants to be back there with Everton. So if we can get the win tonight, we put ourselves in very good stead to do that. It's got to be an Everton win, hasn't it? I'm going for a win for the Blues, but I think there'll be goals in this game, and I think, well, obviously, if I think we're going to win, I obviously think there's going to be goals. But no, I think it's going to be high intensity. Look, just behind us there, we've got Barnes in the background and Maddison and players like that, and we all know what they can do. So I think it'll be tough, but I think Everton will come out on top.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, fingers crossed, because big 3 points will put us right back in contention. Villa have lost this evening as well, which is good for us. They were breathing down our necks with a few games in hand as well, but who knows? 3 points will be very welcome. So that's about it for Everton Live this evening. We'll be back again early, 12 o'clock on Saturday for the visit of Newcastle United. So best set the alarm, Sarah.
I was going to say, it's an early one that for us. No matter how close I live, we're pushing it there.
Absolutely. So we are back for Newcastle. Thanks for all your comments and all your questions tonight. To sign off this evening, to mark Holocaust Memorial Day, Everton will remember those who have been lost.